There we go. Now you got to click your little screen. Sorry about that. I know not everybody could make it. And I want to make sure that we record this. So thank you guys for being here. We're gonna have a great. I'm gonna ask a favor for you. The favor's not really for me, if I'm being quite honest, because it's all gonna work out the same in the end. I know y'all have a million things to do. I'm former leadership. I've been a team leader, and I know that a lot of times we're doing 12 things while we're on a meeting. Can I just give you the gift of 30 minutes of like, can we just be all in together? I promise I won't go over on time, and like, let's just roll. So I know some of you know me and most of you don't. So I want to do a little introduction just so that you know what you're dealing with here. My name is Hudson. I am the Bold Coach coming your way. I am super, super excited. I am passionate about what I do. I'm an agent. That's important for all of you to know. And I want to challenge you to trickle that down to your staff. Because whether it's valid or not, because some of the best coaches I've had never sold a lot of houses. I know that especially with your producing agents, a lot of times the attitude is, oh, well, do they still sell? Do they still have a team? Are they still in production? So I am. I have a team called the HomeWise team. I live in Tampa, so this is the most exciting Bold ever because it's just around the corner. And so I live in Tampa, and our team is a smaller expansion team that covers basically Tampa Bay all the way down through Marco Island. We did about, where did we end last year? Just under 50 million in volume for 1.4 million in GCI. So I do what your agents are doing, and that's important for you to know. I'm a MAPS coach. My specialty is Bold because I don't want to sit behind a desk all day long and do the one-on-one coaching, even though I love people. And I also, as I just shared with those of you that are on early, I'm a dad, I'm a husband. We have 6 children under the age of 12. We have a big life. We've got multiple streams of income. I'm an investor. We're rolling out a title company, and it's just a beautiful life. And that's why I coach Bold. All of it really started in the Bold room. I went into Bold as a zero producer, like a literal zero producer. And in 5 years' time became an MREA, and I don't have a college degree. So I thought that was pretty cool to be able to get there. And because of what it's done for me, that's why I coach, just so you know, it's true passion. So what I want to hear first, and to be honest, I mean, I feel like I kind of know your market because I'm local, and yet while I have a team, I'm not doing the selling, and all of you are in little pocket markets. So I would love to hear from a couple of you. Tim shared about the market that they're dealing with. What is your market like right now? Because I feel like we're in topsy-turvy land. Like, are your numbers up? Are your numbers down? Are your agents scared? Are your agents excited? What are things like right now as far as the market and the vibe in your office with your agents? Don't talk over each other, though. That gets really awkward.
Come on, Lennon. I know you got something to say. Lennon's never quiet. Yeah, that's on.
Come on.
Hey Hudson, I'm Lennon. I'm the team leader in South Tampa. I'm visiting Gulf Beaches today. So I think I can talk for pretty much everybody. I mean, the market, as you know, you're in Tampa, it's all over the place. We have had some bumpy months the past couple months in the fall. I think for us, January things started picking up. We had a better January than months prior. But if you look at the region as a whole, I mean, as long as I've been doing this, which is only about 2 years, I've never seen so many market centers in the red for production mainly. So we definitely need to get the production levels up, especially going into the busy season coming here March, April, May. My big thing is going to be the buy-in. So depending on where we're having this thing, I just found out about it yesterday from the email that I got from somebody, I think it was from you, asking me to get on a call.
Thank you for getting on the call.
It's just going to depend on where this is, because South Tampa agents don't like to drive to Brandon. So I'm just going to be completely honest and throw it out there because it's always an issue.
That's where it is.
Yeah, so
it is at the Brandon office.
It's going to be at the Brandon office in their training room. And please understand that I get what you're saying, and I do. I've been an agent a long time. I'm a former team leader. I get it. And if the price point was good enough, they'd drive to Brandon for a listing appointment. It's not a real objection. It's a surface level objection. And look, I know not all of your agents are gonna go. I mean, there's only so many seats. I get it. And yet the purpose of today is get us to a place where you guys are ready to fight for the people who you know should be there, that A, they need it, and frankly, you need it, right? Because my goal is to make sure that at least for the next few months, you guys are getting good bonuses, because I know that the market center's numbers are down as a whole. I know that everybody on this screen is different, and yet we're all vulnerable. I think it's interesting. I liken it to this. If you guys remember back to 2021, every agent and their mother was just complaining that listings were so hard to get and there were no listings, and listen, it was all this complaining about the lack of listings, when in fact 2021, that we took more listings in 2021 than we had in 15 years. It was the highest number of listings in 15 years. And there was like this many agents were taking them all because they had the right attitude. So why do I share that? The market here is pretty good still. Like, and of course that could change, and yet it doesn't look like it's going to change drastically. The challenge is that perception is reality. And from doing what I do for a living and going from place to place, and because I live in Florida, I almost always have at least one in Florida. So I like there's a ton of your agents still think the sky is falling, even though it isn't. And so I think it's going to be important to get people like that into the room. And I got to tell you, and I shared this with Tim, my goal is to make this a top producer bold. Now, I want to make sure you understand what I mean there. I don't mean no new agents. I don't mean no mighty middle, messy middle, whatever you want to call them, agents. That's not what I mean. I mean, I'd like for us to lead with the top agents, because I know that if your guys' top agents are crushing it, that's a trickle down effect. And so that's the goal here, is to get producing agents in there so that they can keep producing and frankly get to the next level. Because I'll tell you right now, in my office in Northwest Tampa, she was the number 3 agent in the office last year. I talked with her and I congratulated her on a great year. And I was like, what is your goal this year? And she had a lower goal. And I was like, why? Well, everybody's just talking about how hard the market is. And I just want, I don't want to be unrealistic. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, people are still going to have their best year ever. So I appreciate you sharing that. That's kind of what I figured. And my goal is the same as yours. I want to make sure that they're focused on the opportunity in any shift that may happen. And also that they realize that not everything they hear on the news or read in an Inman article is true in their area. So that's really the goal, and that's the way that I'll speak to them. Just so you know, I follow the bold material. I'm not full rogue, and yet I am real with people. I feel like people respect people who talk to them like a peer. And that's like, I don't pull punches, and I want to be there to help people get where they want to go. So I'd like for you to do something with me. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. They're going to feel super coachy. It's just who I am. Just roll with me for a minute. All right. And I would love some participation. The first thing I want to ask you is, I just want to ask, when was the last time that you were so passionate about something goal-wise, achievement-wise, right? Personal, professional, don't care. When were you think of the last time you were so passionate about something that you could have just like run through a wall. There was no stopping you. Like, you were going to get done what you intended to do because that's how excited and passionate you were about it. Can anybody think of an example of that, whether it was recently or 10 years ago? It doesn't matter to me.
Are you wanting us to tell you what it was?
Yes, I'm looking for participation. Thank you for speaking up. There's no right or wrong. Ooh, okay. It's a real small screen. Tell me what it is.
It's a half marathon medal.
Half
I have a
marathon.
few of them now, but that was a big one for me, was getting to the marathon point.
That's amazing. So tell me about that. How long ago did that journey like start?
About, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago. That was last year. I got a foot injury at the end, so it slowed me down. But I mean, I was running a lot, 20-30 miles a week.
Okay, you got a foot injury before your race, or you've got a medal? So I'm assuming
Before
was it
my
after?
Marathon. This is from my half marathon.
Okay, I got you.
For the marathon, yeah. So
Okay.
about 18 months ago, I think.
Okay. Do you got a foot in? Was there ever a point where you thought to yourself, maybe I can do this anyways, even with the foot injury?
I thought about Well, if you saw it. I mean, yes, there was moments where I was like, man, I wonder what it would take to just still be able to go recover quickly and run my marathon. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so you had an unstoppable attitude. All right, give me one more. Will one more of you share? There's no right, there's no wrong, there's no judgment here. Who will share?
So my word for 2022 was atelier, which is the workshop, the creative space. And I had a goal by the end of the year to submit to a writing contest and have a chance to be published. So December 19th of last year, I sent in my manuscript. And, we don't know results yet. I don't know anything yet, but it was that huge accomplishment of, I said I was going to do this, and now the end of the year is looming, and now it's time to do it.
I love it. I love it. So that, and the reason I ask is that, like, I'm just going to be real with you guys. I know it's not your first rodeo for most of you, and some of you have launched Bold, some of you haven't. Some of you have gone to Bold, some of you probably haven't. It can be a lot to get this off the ground. And I want to ask you to look inside and find passion like that so that you don't get knocked down by the ridiculous things that your agents are going to tell you. And that you don't, because here's the other thing that I desire. I don't want to be another task for you. I really don't. I know you've got 22,000 things to do a day, and yet you all have jobs that are measured off one thing, except you don't ever have time to do the one thing because you got 22,000 other. I know your world is crazy, and my goal for Bold is leverage for you. Okay. And I'm going to give you a very simple launch method so that it actually is literally leveraged in the launch process. And then those of you that get people in the room, it will be leveraged. Because look, if they're in Bold, they're not flight risks. They're immersed in the culture. They're selling more homes. They're positive things. Like, they're good. It's also a great recruiting tool. And every office involved has, at least 5 discount codes to send people to Bold. You got an 80% shot they're signing up with KW if you get them in the Bold room, and you can get them in for $199, and you can ask them to pay or you can pay. It doesn't matter. All right. So the goal is to be leveraged, because I want you guys getting some fat bonus checks, because I know that the base salaries at KW are not what's exciting. I know it's the bonus check. And so, and I don't want you to be chasing people and constantly closing that back door. That's the goal of this Bold. So I have one more question kind of around this, and I'll tie it together once y'all answer. Can any of you remember a time that somebody took a stand for you? Like, not just, no, you're good enough, it's cool. Like, somebody who took a stand for you, like, no, you are not allowed to quit. Yes, you are good enough. You're going to do this. Like, who can think of a time where somebody really took a stand for them and just wouldn't take your no for an answer?
That's how I ended up in my first field. I ended up
really?
In my first
okay. So tell me more about that.
Single mom, 6-month-old child, and it was, real estate was convenient, but it wasn't paying the bills. And so right. I was ready. I didn't know what I was doing, and it was, take Bold, do Bold, try Bold, and it was okay. That's the hokey corporate stuff, and I took Bold, and it was, it was much more personal than professional at the time. It still took me a while to launch my professional business, but I had a lot of, aha moments and a lot of, oh, wow moments about where I was living in survival mode and how to be a better person.
Who was it that took that stand? Was it your team leader at the time, or like, who was it?
Yeah, I was on a team at the time, and we were actually in the process of separating. I was going independent because I was headed literally in a different selling direction because I had moved out of kind of where they were focusing. And but he, stay and take it and don't quit. And and my mom was very involved in, my mom's licensed. Most of everybody else knows my mom, but so it was, just take it and just do it and see what happens.
So was it annoying a little bit? And you can be honest, when it was the push, you got to go, you got to go, you got to go. Was it a little annoying?
Oh, absolutely. Oh yeah.
in retrospect, are you glad that they did it?
Oh, I mean, I tell everybody Quantum Leap changed my life, but Quantum Leap prepared me for Bold.
Okay. Okay. So give me one more. There's got to be one more in here. Who took a stand for you? Tell me about it. Great segue though, giving me a bold one though. That was good. Hey, friend.
There, I unmuted.
Hi,
you.
hi. There we go. Hello, hello. Come on,
You
who's
need
got
an
one?
Example of when somebody took a stance for you, where they wouldn't take no for an answer. They stood up for you and said, "No, you can do that." They empowered you. She's thinking about our
Yeah,
conversation
that.
yesterday when I empowered her to be awesome.
All right.
Steve
Well, if,
Moran
okay.
did that for me.
Steve Moran, there you
Okay.
go.
Do you
So
want
tell
me
me
to
about
talk
it. What? Yeah, tell me or tell us. Yeah.
Okay, so I was put in a situation with my boss where some rumors got around and well, they were true, where I was going to be leaving the company based on treatment from previous ownership in the office, just some toxicity going on where my owner was unaware and did not come from curiosity. And so we went into a situation where it just got really toxic and I was just going to leave. And so everybody in the room just assumed, you know, he was right. And when some of the information was actually shared, Steve Moran stood up and said, this is unacceptable and no one told me all the information and I have her back 1,000,000%. And this will never happen again. And so that's probably one of the most impactful moments where someone had my back.
So I appreciate that. So here's why I'm asking. I'm going to give you a super simple plan in a minute for how to launch this Bold and make it not just happen, to make it impactful. Like the Bold's going to happen. You have a lot of agents. It's fine. We'll hit 50. That's the minimum. I don't want to hit the minimum. I want this to be an impactful Bold for you. Has anybody on here not been involved in a Bold launch as leadership? Okay, so there are a few people. Okay, cool. So here's what it's going to look like. First of all, let me give you the plan. The plan is so simple. There are really 3 pieces to this plan other than our leadership meetings that we'll have starting after family reunion, and I'll give you some time options in a minute. We're going to have an awesome meeting with your ALCs. Guys, if your ALC is not on board, this is going to be miserable. Please hear me. And unless you guys have changed a lot of things in your ALC agreement, they already told you they were going to go. And we have to help hold people to standards. What I see happen a lot in Bolds through the Bold launch is that, you know, ALC doesn't want to do it. They don't need it. They're too busy, blah, blah, blah. And then I keep in touch with my people, and 6 months later, people on the ALC have left. Like, if we're like, oh no, it's totally fine. It's totally fine. You do, like, if that's how we treat our people and we don't stand up for them, they don't respect us. You think they do and they don't, right? So we start with our ALC, because if we can get the ALC on board, the other people in your office look up to them more than I think they and probably you guys realize. They really are watching. So we start with the ALC. The second big step is we will have each individually for your offices, we will have a Bold team meeting. And I don't necessarily need every minute of an hour. Don't get me wrong. This can't be you slide me in for 5 minutes and you're like, I gotta go. So we'll plan that out. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. This will be all after family reunion. All right. So we will have a Bold team meeting where I will give you guys some things that you can do on your end. I'm going to do the right things on my end. And the goal is that we should be able to walk out of that meeting with a significant number, excuse me, of registrations, and not like, oh, well, these 3 people might go. That's not what we're looking for.
Hudson,
All right. And
are you going to be attending those team meetings since you're local?
Yeah, I guess here's my caveat. Yes, maybe, kind of. You got to. So I'm in Bolds right now until 2 weeks before we start. So if I'm in a Bold, I obviously can't be there, and yet I can still zoom in from the room. I just put them on a break. Like I coordinate it with break times.
We don't do Zoom in our meetings. It doesn't land. So if you're wanting to sell this thing, we would need to link up and really get you in the room.
Okay. And I'm glad you don't do Zoom. You would never have a guest in from another state.
Not really. it just doesn't land well with the agents. I mean, the way that our office is set up, I mean, you've been to South Tampa, we don't have the technology. There's like cords everywhere. Somebody's like moving the camera. It's just,
Well, so two things. First of all, it might work out. It just depends. Like we'll talk about dates. You can give me the
Yeah.
dates of your meetings, and if I can make it work, I'm happy to do it. And if I can't, my promise to you is that even if there's janky cords everywhere, I will still make it work if you will work with me, and we will get registrations. That is my promise to you. I'm happy to be there. I would love to be there in person. I just don't want to promise it when I know that I have a bold in Cleveland and a bold in Boynton Beach. If I'm in
Yeah.
Cleveland, I definitely can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So we'll get the dates from you and we'll figure it out.
I'm just saying, because the last one that we did, it did not, I mean, the guy was like panicking and freaking out during even the initial bold class, session number 1. I mean, he was in like full on panic sweat trying to get people to sign up. And I'm just telling you, like,
So-
the agents that we have, I mean, in person would be more impactful. If you guys are wanting to fill the room for the bold, I mean, I'm a big advocate of bold. It changed my life along with family reunion. So I do tell people this. I actually pull up my multi-year trends and show them, this is the year I went to bold and this is the year before, and it was night and day. But if you can't, I mean, we'll work on dates, but I'm just saying that it would be more impactful on your end.
No, and I appreciate that. And here's the deal. I want you to tell me these things, and I can only work within my constraints. Here's what I will tell you, because I don't know. Actually, I don't want to know who the last coach is, because here's what I need you to hear me. I don't accept anything other than excellence. And I don't mean to sound like I'm full of, I just don't. And the plan I'm reading out to you right now. So my Cleveland Bold listened and went along with this, really, which is a simplified plan. And we were sold out at step 1 before we ever walked into the rooms at 130 people. And I've had some of the largest bolds in history recently, because I do things a little different. I'll just put it that way. So I appreciate the feedback. I actually need the feedback, or else I can't succeed. And regardless of the situation, I'm not going to roll in sweating or freaking out. I can tell you that much. That's not how I roll.
Well, agreed. It was definitely the first. I attended that bowl. That was my first bowl as an agent, and it was like, we need people to pay. I mean, it was very like,
It was
but
desperate.
yeah, I will say though, it was also in a
Oh.
terrible location. It was all the way in Ulmerton, you know what I mean? So it was a really far drive for most people that are up here. But we still had
Yeah.
probably 10 agents from this side of the bridge down there at that bowl. I think Valrico had
Yeah.
probably 3 or 4 of their own that were there for that specific bowl. So people will do the drive. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
Here's what I will prove to you that I'm a little bit different and that it's going to be good. And I appreciate the feedback. So there's one more piece and this piece is for you. I need you to hear that. I'm going to ask you to speak to everyone on your roster at some point between now and the first step of bold. It doesn't all have to happen at once. It doesn't all have to be the team leader. So don't freak out. Here's the point. We're in a shifting market, even if the shift is not extreme, right? That is the perception. I would assume that most of you guys realize this, and if not, I will make sure you realize this. Your agents right now are being recruited harder than they have been in a very long time. Okay, so yeah, like a lot. And this is a relationship-based business on the business side of things, and it is on your side as well. So here's how I want you to treat this. I don't want you to call everybody in your roster and be like, bold's coming, bold, 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 blah, blah, blah. Like, no. I want you to call and have a real live care conversation with them. How are they doing? How are their goals coming along? Are they on track to hit their goals so far this year? Are they not? You're going to find out stories you didn't even know. If you talk to everyone and all you get are 5 people going to bold, here's the way that I look at it. You still won. Because you have now connected with every single person in your most important database, because you guys can recruit till you're blue in the face. And if people are leaving left and right, it's just not fun. It's just not. So that's all I want to do. We're going to have a great ALC meeting. It can either be your actual, again, we'll talk about dates. It can either be your actual ALC meeting, or it can be a separate one where I jump on a call or come in person, whatever it is. And I will give them value. I'm not going to come vomit on bold about them either. I'm going to teach them and give them value and then tie it to bold, right? And then we're going to have a great team meeting. We'll figure out dates, and then we're going to talk to everybody. And the easiest thing to do is to literally print your roster out and have a red light, green light, yellow light system. You're going through these people. Green light means they said yes and we signed them up. Life is great. Yellow light means it's not a no, it's not a yes. We're going back and forth. Red light is you got a hard no, a real no. And you all have probably done this long enough to know that the first no is usually not real. So that's the idea. It's just super, super simple. And if we can do that together, we will fill every seat and then some. We'll pack them in like sardines as much as we can without making them mad. And we'll have an impact, not just on the agents, it'll have an impact on your market centers and on your profit and the culture. So let me know any questions. And then the last thing I want to do before I give you your rest of your day back is I just want to choose days and times for our ongoing meetings that will happen after family reunion. So any questions, any concerns, any ahas, anything? Sweet. Do you believe that we can do this simplified, or are you sitting there like he's crazy?
I think it could be simple. I don't
Yeah,
see why.
I think it
that's
can be.
issue at all.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know enough people are excited to get it back in person, so I think it should be enough people that we can at least get yellow lights.
Okay, hey, I'll take the yellow lights. Here's what I'll tell you. And I know you've heard this a million times to the point that it's a cliche, and I get it. So take it with a grain of salt. Speed of the leader, speed of the pack. I'm going to ask you guys, for the sake of your agents and your paychecks, to please just be excited about this when you're in front of agents. Because if they sniff any kind of, oh yeah, well, like that's what they're going to pick up. So I'm going to ask you to be excited. Those of you that haven't done this before, or maybe have never attended Bold, because a lot of you raised your hands, if you're going to be at family reunion, seek me out. And I'll type my phone number in here in a second. Like, I'll spend a little bit of time with you and I'll tell you exactly what Bold is all about so you can sell it better. Or you can call me, do anything like that. Leon or Lennon, whoever it is, go ahead.
So while we have Dana's attention, maybe you want to talk to her to restructure our bonus as well.
Yeah, you keep talking about how amazing these bonuses are, but obviously you haven't seen our contracts.
Okay,
Anytime, Dana, you can jump in anytime.
The text I just sent you, Leon, where I said, go have a nice lunch today. I take it back. No lunch.
Okay, so let me ask this question. I'm going to ask Dana direct. There are bonuses available, correct?
So bonuses for bringing people, like, are we talking about Bold reimbursements? What are we
No,
talking
I
about?
mean like, are most of your leadership, is there some sort of bonus availability for them?
Of course, for recruiting.
Yeah, cool.
Of course.
So we can tie that into Bold. I want you guys to, and I'm sorry, I'm at home because it's a travel day for me and I have dogs barking. I'm sorry.
Axel, it sounds a little wonky.
What's that?
They're the boys are being naughty, Hudson. Just ignore them. Just put them on mute.
You're good. Look, all right. So here's what I want to figure out real quick with those of you that are on here. So our meetings, again, starting after family reunion, don't freak out. I got to go to family reunion too. I can do Friday, 11 in the morning, or I can do Monday at 2 p.m. Are either of those workable? They'll never be more than 30 minutes.
Friday at 11 is great with me.
Mondays, we have the regional calls, so that's probably
That's what I figured. Mondays, I used to do them Mondays religiously, and I realized it's awful for you guys.
Yeah.
Can we make Fridays, or at least most Fridays up until launch at 11 work? Knowing that I'll always record these if you can't be here. I can't have nobody on the screen. It's a real boring meeting without anybody on the screen.
We can commit.
If
Okay.
they're only 30 minutes, I can commit.
Yeah, 30 minutes. I will never take more, except it's probably going to be 31 minutes in a second. This is the first call. I will not take more than 30 minutes of your time. So here's the deal, guys. I want to challenge you. Please, please, please. Send me dates for ALC. Send me dates for your team meetings so that we can start to piece this together. And then on those weekly meetings that we'll have, we'll plan and strategize to make sure that they're good. So just send me some dates. My assistants are going to start asking for your rosters and stuff like that. So just look out for those emails, and you've got my number. I swear to you, I'm your partner in this. I want you to succeed and we succeed together. So let me help you any way you need, even if that just means explaining why Bold or why me. You can't ask me something that's going to offend me. So we're a minute over and I'm going to stick to my word. Go have an amazing day. Let me know what else I can do for you, and I'll see you at family reunion. Okay.
Thank you.
Take care, guys. I appreciate you.
Bye.